Blaidd the Half-Wolf's story is one that ends in tragedy, like all the other stories in Elden Ring, but one that has to do with loyalty, will, and love. In this video, we'll be analyzing the psychology of Blaidd and breaking down essentially what makes him Blaidd, and the events that transpire throughout the game that define his character and his psychology. Just in case, there will be major spoilers for Blaidd, Iji, and Ranni's questlines, so feel free to exit out if you want to avoid spoilers. Blaidd's loyalty to Ranni is one that, on the surface, seems like your typical loyal best friend or sibling loyalty, but I find myself looking at other perspectives. He was created to serve Ranni through the Two Fingers to make sure she follows her destiny, or at least the one the Two Fingers wanted. Ranni and Blaidd were close since then, as he's practically her stepbrother. I start to think about whether or not Blaidd's strong loyalty to Ranni was just that, or if it could have been subjugation. According to the subjugation schema, it can be because he isn't in total control of his life, or rather his purpose is servitude to Ranni. He loses most of his control towards the end of his story to the point where he attacks the Tarnished. Just before though, he was using that last ounce of his free will to question this madness he was going through and wanted to still serve Ranni and her purpose by protecting her.
No. I'm part of her very being. I can never betray her, no matter what might happen. Ranni, she needs me.
But what if he truly never had free will to begin with? There could be the argument that he's content with this servitude he had to Ranni because it's never oppressive or a burden on him. But I think about how he truly never knew what would happen to him if he, Ranni, and Iji followed through with their plan. He may feel proud serving Ranni and taking the steps to advance her cause, but what about him? Is her success really the only thing he wants? If it is it his want to begin with, or one imposed by the Two Fingers, or maybe even Ranni? We could also discuss the possibility that he knew he would go mad if Ranni succeeded, because the Two Fingers would control him to kill her for her subterfuge, but that just goes further to the idea of subjugation because he's committing self-sacrifice for someone else's gain. I personally don't think he knew, because all the evidence points to him not knowing that he would descend into madness, but I could be wrong. Someone he's in service to that, although not completely confirmed to my knowledge, could have manipulated him to oblivion. That's not including that the Two Fingers could have been controlling him this whole time through a false idea of free will. On the surface, we see his loyalty as strong and unconditional, but the question still remains if it was his own free will or if he was manipulated by his own stepsister to achieve her goals without knowing the consequence, which is a descent into madness. In the end of his story, Blaidd shows an incredible amount of willpower as he's still trying to protect Ranni at her tower while completely mad. Even Iji felt regret for locking him away and questioning his loyalty. Think about it. Blaidd's willpower to still serve Ranni, while having some sort of greater will trying to get him to Order 66 Ranni, is insane. It's also impressive how he just flat out demolished 3 Black Knife assassins like it was just another day at the office. Usually those with strong will in moments where it's really tested are serving a purpose. The purpose could be for the service of others, for serving themselves, for a higher power, or to prove oneself. In Blaidd's case, it's obviously so Ranni can ascend to godhood. I know there were theories about how Blaidd was supposed to be Ranni's consort, but I'm not too sure how. I mean, yeah, George R.R. Martin loves incest, but if Ranni always knew that Blaidd would descend into madness and try to kill her, then how would he be her consort? Iji even calls Blaidd a curse that plagued Ranni.
Unthinkable. How could Blaidd? How did he break free from his cell? No. More importantly, Blaidd became a curse that plagued Lady Ranni, yet even in madness, gave himself to her. I've made a grave misjudgment. And I thought myself a capable war counselor. I'll catch up with you soon enough, Blaidd. When I do, I only hope you'll accept my apology.
So it isn't too convincing to me that he was planned to be her consort. He sadly does lose control and attacks us though, which means that his will wasn't strong enough. Keyword, enough. It could be that he just saw red for everybody not named Ranni and that his will was still strong, but it's unfortunate that his will didn't stretch just a little bit farther for the Tarnished. It was serving the same purpose as him. It's safe to say though that this willpower he had to resist the Two Fingers came from his loyalty to Ranni, which is all based in his love for her. Sure, Ranni could have manipulated him like I mentioned, but that still doesn't change the fact of how much he loved her. Best case scenario, his love was reciprocated somehow within the confines of a platonic relationship, whether it was simply just Ranni completing her goal or just hearing a thank you sometimes. Worst case though, it was a relationship full of manipulation where he would sacrifice his well-being just to make her happy. Maybe he was fearful about what could happen if he simply acted for himself instead of in her interest. Maybe she had too much control over him, or he just loved her that much that he didn't care to put himself in harm's way. The former seems to be true as Ranni does recognize his loyalty.
Even when I turned my back upon the Two Fingers, Blaidd remained my loyal ally. Though he was created a vassal for an Empyrean, he was a colossal failure on the part of the Two Fingers. Blaidd and E.G. both. Art willing to give too much to me, yet they both understand what lieth beyond the dark path, that I must betray everything and rid the world of what came before. Should I add thee to the list? Another one, kind of heart. As kind of heart as they.
So I don't think Ranni was all that bad to him, besides not telling him about how he would go mad and betray her if they went down this path. Even in that interaction with him at Ranni's tower, you could hear him say that he'll never betray her, further emphasizing the love he had for her. There's also the Two Fingers though, and how they could have just fabricated all the love Blaidd had for Ranni. Even then, it's still love. And honestly, I think it's genuine because that's what made him resist the control of the Two Fingers. So no matter what the relationship was between Blaidd and Ranni and whether or not she was worthy of his loyalty, he still loved her to the point that he was able to resist the control of the Two Fingers. Blaidd's loyalty, will, and love are all some of the strongest you'll see in practically any sort of storytelling. Although we all hate that he died, it's what really drove these aspects of the character home for me, and what makes him Blaidd. Whether he was treated fairly or manipulated, if it was his destiny or free will, his love for Ranni gave him this unwavering will and loyalty for her that a higher power couldn't budge. In the real world, we all hope to meet someone like this that'll always have our backs and love us for who we are no matter what. And there will be a purpose, or a person, that we have unbreakable will for simply because we love them. If you made it this far in the video, I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and let me know what you think about Blaidd's story and other psychological aspects of the character in the comments. See ya!